and welcome to Viking Age Music. Today we are going to talk about this instrument. Now, first of all, let me be clear. This is my interpretation of the instrument. I will tell you the similarities and the differences between the original. Well, the original instrument was found in Hedeby under excavation, or more correctly, it was a redirection of a dam or some river or something like in that area. I'm not quite sure, but it was found in Hedeby. And as said, most people call it for the Hedeby Rebec, but you could also say, more correctly, it would be a Gige, the Hedeby Gige. Well, the differences and the similarities between a Rebec and a Gige, we can discuss that to eternity, but most people know it as the Hedeby Rebec. Now, what are the similarities to my interpretation and the original? Well, the similarities is obviously the shape, and also the length of it is about 42 centimeters long. Where the similarities stop is actually the thickness of the instrument. I didn't have a piece of wood that was thick enough, so I thought, well, I'll try to make one anyway, and well, let's see how it sounds with not so big a body or thick a body. But overall, the shape is the same as the original, and now, why do we know or are almost certain that this is a music instrument? Because the only thing that was found in Hedeby was the bowl. And actually, somewhere under the construction, well, he was probably hollowing the body out, and he was unlucky, and some of the side simply broke off. We can see that on the piece that they found. It was simply broken off. Very, very unlucky for that guy or girl. And the person decided just to throw it away. It was no way to save it. And why do we know it's the instrument? Well, there was actually drilled a hole for this knob where you could attach the strings. Well, we don't know if there was a saddle. They could also just, put the strings directly on the knob here. Of course, there was no soundboard, so I took the liberty to make the holes like I wanted them to be, and that's fair enough because there was no soundboard found. So well, it's free for all. And of course, the bridge we don't know anything about, and the pegs the same. So this instrument is mostly known from the eastern part of Europe, Russia. And in the Russian areas, they called it a gudok. Gudok. I probably butchered the name, totally sorry for that. But they have found a pretty decent amount of these type of instruments. And the design of it, or the look of it, is almost identical. Some can be more pointed here in the end, where the headstock. Some are more leaner or small, more not so wide. And well, but actually they look exactly the same. And they usually use 3 strings. So, well, we don't know if the Hedeby Gige would be made with 3 strings. We don't know, but it makes sense with 3. And also, if we take the bowed lyres like Talharpe or the Yukun, they are also mostly 3-stringed. So why not? And now, how did an instrument like this end up in Hedeby? At that time, a Danish-controlled trading town, a very important and very big trading town in the Viking Age, like Ribe was. Well, I like to use my imagination. Let's say that a Scandinavian trader, merchant, traveled down the Russian rivers and got in contact with people who were playing the gudok. And he thought, wow, that sounds wonderful. I'll take that idea. Maybe he couldn't buy one in that place. So when he went home to Hedeby, he just started to make one of his own. And unfortunately, it didn't work. It braked, and he was just throwing it away. Another thing could be that maybe a Russian or Ukrainian or whatever, a merchant, trader, was traveling up to Hedeby and make some business, and he just suddenly missed the music from his hometown and decided to make a gudok or this, and that also failed. So we don't know for sure, but I like to make stories that make sense. Hope maybe you agree. Well, I will say I'm not proficient. I'm not good at all at playing the bowed instrument. But of course, I'll have to try to practice some more and get some really decent tones out of it. But I'm not so tone deaf that I can't hear that there is potential in this instrument because it can actually make some really nice sounds. So, well, I really don't know what more I can say about the instrument. It was fun to make, and yeah, I hope I hope I can. Well, here at home, I have a wife that really hates all I do with music, and of course, this is a bit of a, it's a trial to be witness to practicing on. Like, when the child tries to learn violin, it's also that's hell. The same with this. So, but I hope very much when it gets spring, I can go out to the Ribe Viking Center and practice there and drive them nuts out there. Yeah. And also, I chose to use a fishing line, um, 0.20 millimeters fishing line. It's very thin, and then you take a certain amount of strings and then you twist them together to make the strings. Now, some would say, oh, you have to use horsehair. Yeah, I could. But we know all that horsehair contracts and expands according to how much moisture there is in the air and the temperature. And I like to take my instruments out and play them and not tune them all the time. And actually, very many of the Tagelhabe and Yukon players are swearing to nylon fishing line strings because it sounds very similar to horsehair. And you don't have the problem that you have to tune the instrument all the time. So, therefore, now I have a problem because you can see there is not a lot of horsehair on my bow. Yes, I really prefer horsehair for the bows. So I have to, maybe some of you guys have a good place where I can buy horsehair because you can see there's not a lot left. And that is, of course, also have an influence on the sound. So bear with that thing with me. So, well, if you like the video or the videos, give it a thumbs up and maybe make a subscription so you can subscription to my channel so you always get a news updates, and you can also leave a comment down below if you have a question or just think it's garbage or really good. So for this time I will say thank you very much, and I will try to play a bit more on it, drive you all nuts. Well, of course, it's a mobile phone I'm recording this with, and the sound is not so good. I will, when I get a little bit better on it and I will compose some kind of a tune, I will of course make a recording with the proper microphone and the setup and all of that, and then I will of course make a video where I hopefully can play something that is good or nice. Yeah. Well, I will say thank you very much for listening and watching, and until I see you next time, have a really nice day and play some music, yeah?